But we're experts in Godot now, so we're going to do one better, and we're going to have a prompt that pops up when you're able to unlock the chest. It'll invite us to open the chest by pressing E. We've done a very similar thing when we were entering the car, so this might look familiar to you if you were following the car tutorials. First thing we're going to do is go to the chest and just make this collision shape a little bit bigger so it becomes a proximity sensor. Tells if we're close to the chest or not. Then we're going to add a label 3D. Label 3D. I'm going to give it some text. And at the start, it's just going to have the text of locked. I'm going to drag that somewhere you can see it. There's my text that says locked. And to make it always face the camera, I'm going to turn on this flag that says billboard. Change it to enabled. And now wherever I move my camera, that word that says locked is always going to be facing the camera. And I'm also going to change this color field in text that says modulate. That'll let me change the color of the word locked from white down to a red color. We have a big red word that says locked on our chest if we don't have any keys. And we're going to change the text of that label through our script. I'm going to go to the script. I'm going to grab a reference to my label 3D. And if I have any keys, I'm going to change the color of the label 3D by writing label3d.modulate color white, and I'm going to change the text. Label3d.text equals E for open. And if we don't have any keys, I have an else statement for no keys. That's when I'm going to change the label 3D modulate color back to the red color. Color.red. And we're going to change the text back to locked. Text equals locked. So now, as I come close to the chest, if I have keys, it will say E for open, and if I don't have keys, it will go red, and it will say locked. I'd also like it if this label only shows up when we're in proximity of the chest. So to do that, I'm going to start it being hidden by turning off the I symbol. And then in my onBodyEntered function, I'm going to write at the very bottom label.3d.show so that I can show that label 3D anytime that my player is close enough. And then I'm going to go to the chest and add another signal for body exited. I'll use this same check that we've got for body entered, that I have a playable character exiting the chest area. And if that's the case, then I'm going to label.3d hide again. So whenever I come close enough, I'll be showing that label. And whenever I get far enough away, I will be hiding the label. Let's see how that's going so far. Now, as I come close to the chest, if I don't have a key, this is working perfectly. It says locked, and then it hides again when I leave. If I pick up a key, it will be a bit odd. It shows open, but it also opens. And that text, or now says locked because it's eaten my key. So we don't actually want it to open anymore until we hit the E key. So we're going to move all of this code that actually does the opening of the chest, Control X, into a new function that we write ourselves, func open. And because it operates on a body, we're going to need to pass it a body. And I'm going to paste all that code in there. It didn't paste very well. I want to line it up by hitting Shift Tab so it goes to the right level of indentation. And now we've got our new function called open that we can call from our player script. Our player just needs a reference to the chest. So when we enter the chest proximity area, if we have enough keys, right here where we stole all that other code, we're going to set a target on our body. And it's going to be self. And when we did this for vehicles, I called that vehicle. I could call this chest, but then we'd have to create a different one each time. So I'm using a slightly more generic word now. I'm going to write target equals self anytime that I want something that the body can open. And then when we leave the chest area, I'm going to remove that target from the body. First, I'll check that the target is myself, because I don't want to remove other targets, I only want to remove myself. And if that's the case, then I'm going to set it back to null. Remove myself as the target. So anytime that my player comes close to the chest, it will get this new variable on it, which is the chest. It will be able to run the open function. And anytime it leaves the chest, it will not have access to that variable anymore, and it won't be able to run this open function. So now we have just a couple of lines of code to write in the player script to get this all working. At the top, I'm going to add my new variable called target so that I can set the target from my chest script. And then when I press E, you might already have a line like this, checking that you're pressing E, but if not, it's exactly the same as our line, checking if you press escape, but at the end it says key E. I'm going to check if I have a target, and if I do have a target, I'm going to call target.open and pass it myself as the body that it uses on the open function. So that's all of the player script that we write. In the chest section, we give our body this target, which means it can call target.open and it will run this open function. It means we're controlling when this happens from our player script, but it's still part of our chest script here. We've just told the player how it can run it, and it can run it because it's got that target variable. So let's see that working now. I'm going to hit play. Locked should work exactly the same as it did before, but now getting the key is not enough for me to open the chest. All I'll see is those words E equals open. But what's happening behind the scenes is it's giving a target to my player, and when I click the E key it will be running target.open, and it opens the chest. It eats my key, and now I've still got that slight problem where as I walk away and come back, the label is still hiding and showing. So I've got one final step here, which is to keep track of whether or not we've opened the chest. So I'm going to add a variable is open, and when we open this chest, I'm going to set is open to true, and then anytime that I might be about to show the label, I'll check and not is open. So I won't be showing any of those labels if the chest is already open. I think I'll also want to hide the label just one more time, which is when we open the chest, so that we don't have to wait until we walk away for the label to disappear. That should be that. Finally done on our advanced version of the chest there, where we can walk towards it and we see locked. If we get the key, we see E, and if we unlock it with E, then all of the text goes away, as does our key.